talked about this morning with her advisory group. But first off, especially with today doing what it's doing, thank you. Like, when I talk with other people, whether it's my friends or the person cutting my hair, everybody is always amazed when you tell them you're a middle school teacher. They think you're crazy, which, I mean, yeah, we probably are. But, guys, to get to teach at a school where we can just throw a curveball at you, like, legitimately, I think I could throw a curveball at, well, I'd probably need Juan to throw it because I can't throw a curveball. But you guys adapt so well. Like, seriously, you are in 7th grade. You're like 12 years old. There are adults who could not do what you just did. Of like, oh, wait, I'm not going to science. Oh, wait, I'm going to math. Oh, I need to go get my math binder. Like, your flexibility is going to pay off huge in the future. So thank you for being flexible and not, like, flipping out for no reason. There are some kids and some adults who be like, oh my gosh, change! I can't do today now. What? Like, you had a change and now today can't happen? Like, no, you guys are awesome. You're like, oh, change? Okay, whatever. And that is going to pay off huge in the future. On the tail end of me saying thank you, though, just like Mrs. Gordon alluded to, I got a lot of you in here, so I need you to actually engage with me, ask questions if you have questions, but fight the urge to, like, have side conversations and stuff. I can't babysit 40 people at once. I can't really babysit 4 people at once. I tried it. Didn't go very well. So, please, I broke a light in the basement. It's a whole story. So, if we get done with everything we need to get done, here's how I'll provide motivation. I will tell the story of the babysitting job I was fired from if we get through the lesson. They're not really fired. They just never had me come back again.
Well, yeah, so.
Look, it's not my fault they have a trampoline inside.
What?
Nope, that's all I'm saying about it right now. You'll hear the story later. Lexi, will you run to the printer and see if it has printed them yet? We were just waiting for it to print them. Thank you very much. Because it's low, it keeps shooting this message that, like, oh, the toner cartridge is low. What that means is it has like 700 pages left. Low for like a business is different than here because we don't print a crazy amount. But this is on your paper if you have one of the papers. If you don't, it's okay. But if you do have today's worksheet, or when Lexi gets back, we'll get it to you. To my people that are sketching, it is time to switch over to mathematics now, right?
She might need to put the paper back down because that's what I had to do when I was printing my.
We'll see if she comes back with them. Awesome. If not, we'll go figure it out. I might send you to help with it. Are they out or no? Ray, do you want to go mess with it?
Yeah.
And ask Miss Rosie for help too. She can normally figure it out.
What is the title?
Still equations. We're still doing algebra. So technically, they're saying using a table to write expressions from word problems. Algebra. We can keep going with our algebra header because that is what we're doing. So the Great Lakes. If you have played Ticket to Ride with me, you've heard me say the weird thing about how do trains go across the lakes. But seriously, these are right north of us, right? What lake are we up against in Ohio? Lake Erie. So we're right below here. Obviously, Lake Michigan goes up into here. The state up north goes up into here. But, so let's look at the information they give us. And you, on your paper, could underline or highlight as we go. Great Lakes contain the largest amount of fresh water on the surface of the planet. Combined, the Great Lakes contain 84% of North America's fresh water. Guys, this is real data, right? CPM doesn't make stuff up. This is real data. And 21% of the world's fresh water. Guys, that's a fifth. That's kind of crazy. A fifth of the world's fresh water resides in these lakes. And if you know much about the Great Lakes, there was a time when Lake Erie was so dirty you wouldn't even swim in it. Yeah. It was like disgusting. There's different stories, but I know a river in Coshocton caught on fire. But anytime a body of water is really, really polluted, the chemicals sit on top and they're susceptible to catch on fire because they're chemicals. So let's read on and see what they tell us. So Lake Superior, go ahead and we'll make it yellow since it's Superior, is 1,720 cubic miles more than Lake Michigan. I guess we'll color Lake Michigan blue. You know, it's kind of, I know. Yeah.
Blue.
Well, it was kind
That's
of.
gray.
Oh my gosh! Look, this is the blue column.
That's not blue. That's
Fine.
gray. No, that's too dark.
Oh my god.
Wait, Lake Michigan, right? Lake Michigan. Or Lake Higgin. Lake Huron. Lake Huron has 330 cubic miles of water less than Lake Michigan. Now, okay, let's pause for a moment. A cubic mile. Everyone shut your eyes for a moment. Think about the track at Thomas Worthington or Kilbourne, if you've ever gone to those high schools and seen the track. Right? The length of a football field is 100 yards. Add the end zones and the distances from the track, you maybe have about 150 yards. To get to a mile, you need 5,280 feet. So whatever in your head, you can imagine 5,000 feet. You'd need probably at least like 8 football stadiums, like lined up. Probably because at the track, normally you have to run 4 times around the track to be a mile. So if you stretch them long ways, hey, I got eyes open and people talking. Now go that distance up, like 8 football stadiums.
In the air?
Right? Yeah. And that distance over. Make a cube. That's a cubic mile, right? A mile by a mile by a mile. Sure. Now you can open your eyes. So guys, a cubic mile is literally a mile cube full of water. This is a crap ton of water, right? So I'm trying to get you to like realize this is ridiculous, but this is real information. This is real data. And then they tell us the total amount of water in those lakes, those 3 lakes, not all 5, is almost 5,000 cubic miles. Did those, Ray, let's hole punch those before we pass those out to people, just to make it easy for them. Thank you so much for getting that fixed. So I want you, and now everyone will have one of these to write on. So if you've been writing on your draft paper, I'll bring you one of these. I want you to write out how we write those expressions, right? How do we write those expressions? What lake are we going to reference to? Raise your hand if you still need one of these. I will bring it to you. So we should have like S for Lake Superior, or like M for Lake Michigan. There we go. Everyone got one? Everyone got one? So they say Superior. There's 5 Great Lakes, but they're only giving us information about a few of them. So Lake Superior is 1,720 more than Lake Michigan, right? So we're gonna say, yeah, but you're not supposed to.
No.
So actually, I will say, for as much as Ohioans like to talk crap about Michigan, it's a beautiful state. Go visit there if you want to. Now, their water might be gross. So to write this, 1720 more than the amount of water. So Michigan plus 1720. Like it's not football season. We destroyed them again this year. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why we keep this rivalry going. They have no chance. Like they haven't beat us in a very, 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 very long time. On.
My mom actually told me this one story before.
Okay.
Like I don't know who it was, but somebody that worked for somebody that worked for the Buckeyes was going to a meeting over there in Michigan.
Yeah.
And his car broke down, like he ran out of gas, and so he called a tow truck all the way back to Ohio just to get gas.
Oh my gosh.
And didn't because he didn't want to get gas from
This is stupid.
That's fun. It's stupid but kind of funny at the same time. Huron. So guys, we should have this written down. S is M plus 1720. Huron. Yeah, it's 330 less. Now, some of us are having issues on the mastery with this. It's 330 less than Lake Michigan, so it's M minus 330. And then they tell us the 3 lakes, Superior, Huron, and Michigan, make 4,930 together. So we could then say Huron, Superior, and Michigan, in whatever order you want, is 4,930. I want you to take probably 2 minutes, because that'll put me nicely at 9:30, to substitute the expressions we have up here involving m in for their respective variable values down there, and then solve for m. Once we solve for m, we can come back up here, plug it in, and figure out h and figure out s. If you do not know how to do what you're doing, turn to a friend, ask them, what's he talking about substitute? What do you mean? But we should be replacing the h, and we should be replacing the s with the expressions involving the m. I'm going to not talk unless somebody raises their hand and asks me for help. So you can't minus both of them away, and that's why we're going to write out an expression. Because realize this one is addition and this one is subtraction. One's a positive, one's a negative. You can't do the same thing with both of them. That will not work. Not yes. All right, maybe we should do this one together, because I think this morning has been a bit too crazy. You have s equals m plus 1720, and you have h equals m minus 330. We substitute for h. Instead of keeping the h, we're going to write m minus 330. It does not have to be in parentheses. I'm just doing that so you can see what I subbed. The s can be replaced by m plus 1720, so we do that. Guys, I'm going to walk around and look for you to have this on your paper. Please do it. Otherwise, you're just like, sitting there for no reason. Really, as I said at the beginning of the year, if you're going to make the choice to not do what we're doing in here, just don't come to class. Like, just go somewhere else. Love you, but I don't need you, especially when we have 40 kids at the same time. I don't need you fighting against what we're doing. We're all here to do math, right? If you're not, then go somewhere else. Here's the issue with Naomi just called me over, and what we were doing yesterday was a lot of like get rid of the extra. All right, so she's like, well, I can just get rid of both of the extra parts. That's dangerous here, though, because one of the extra parts is a negative value, where the other extra part is a positive value. So before, you're not wrong about getting rid of the extra, but before we do that, we have to combine like terms. So grab all your m's, 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 m's. Plus, get your constant values, negative 330, positive 1720. Well, but that's negative. So you can either do 1720 minus 330, or start with negative 330 and then do plus 1720. Either way, you should get 1390. Yeah? Sorry, I want to write that in black, actually. Well, you are putting them together. So it depends on what you're thinking. If you make this negative, yes, add them. Or you can just write, or like type in your calculator, 1720 minus 330, because this negative is going to bring our value down. That's how this becomes 1390. Not a bigger number. It got smaller because Lake Huron is missing the 330. Right? So guys, give me your eyes real quick. What they told us in the problem was Superior has all of Lake Michigan and extra water, right, is what we're talking about here. Huron is almost the same size as Lake Michigan, but it's less by 330. So when we put the extras together, that's why we get 1390. The one value brought us down. It was missing 330. And that equals 4930. Now, the only way I can think of doing random cards today is to just alternate. So let's start with a 1A. So, Lydia, what could I do now? With that bottom written in black, what could I do now? Lydia. Not Lily. What? Oh, well, I could, but that'd be tough. Now I can get rid of the extra, right? Lydia said I can subtract. That's how we'll now get rid of the extra. So Naomi, do you see why I told you don't subtract both of those? Pause for a moment, and I know Naomi is like bold and strong, like she won't mind me saying this. So she called me over and said, can I just subtract both the extra values? We couldn't, because like that would have messed up what we're actually doing. We can subtract the 1390, but we can't subtract 1720 and then subtract 330. That'll make us too small. So if we subtract 1390 from both sides, can we do what? So the other thing we could have done, Naomi, is up here, we could have minused the 1720 from both sides, but then we would add the 330 to both sides. That will get us the same thing we're going to get down here. It would have just been a different route, right? Like we talked about yesterday, different routes to get to the same place. So when I do this subtraction, what do I get? Somebody help me. 3,210?
No.
3540?
Yeah, so you could do the equal minus the 1390 to equal. Like the 4930.
Yeah, that seems right. So wait, what now?
So, yeah, wait. So couldn't you just like take the 4930 minus the 1390 to equal?
Yeah, that's what we just did to get the 3540.
Wait, but then why did you minus?
So that would go to 0.
So that 1390 was the combined extra amounts. That was the combined extra, but the one extra was negative. Does that make sense? So then when we took away the extra from both sides, here and here, we got just 3m equals to just 3540. Bella, what do we do now? Divide by 3. When we divide by 3, we get the amount in Michigan.
100, 1,118. I mean 80. Sorry. 80.
But we're not done. Because that's just Michigan. And if I ask you to tell me how much water is in Lake Huron and how much water is in Lake Superior, well, we said Huron is the amount in Michigan, take away 330. 950 here? And then find Superior on your own. Superior has the extra water, right? It's Michigan plus. Oh, 8? My bad. Somebody told it to me.
Nick, you're wrong. What? I was doing it on the number T, not the calculator.
Superior, we have to add the extra 1720. We have to add the extra 1720. So Superior becomes 2,900. Is it?
Wait, it's 900?
2,900.
Bruh.
Questions on how we did that? Questions on how we did that? Wait. So I'm going to walk it through, then we're going to do it like on a different problem. Right? So they tell us all this information that we then write down in expressions. Superior is the same amount of water as Michigan is, plus 1720. Because they're not actually the same size, right? Superior is bigger. So compared to Lake Michigan, Superior has like an extra part up here that is its plus 1720. So Superior is essentially Michigan plus 1720. But Huron, if I tried to like compare it to Michigan, it is Michigan minus 330 because it's smaller than Lake Michigan. When I put all three of these lakes together, we're talking about this lake, and this lake, and they tell us all of them total 4,930. So we set up that the 3 lakes equals 4,930. Hey, if you understand this, talking right now is really disrespectful to those who are still trying to understand it. We replace, which mathematically we call substitution. We substituted our expression for Michigan, which is really hard to see right now if I don't drag this off, which was M minus 330. Or sorry, our expression for Huron. That replaced the H. So H, which was right here, right, becomes this expression M minus 330. S, that was right here, becomes M plus 1720 because we replace it based off what they told us up here. And Michigan stays Michigan. Are you with me for how we got to here? And they're still equal to 4,930. Then we combine like terms, putting my M's together and my constants together. Now is when I'm ready to get rid of the extra and then split into groups to get 1. So let's do this again. I'm not even going to ask if does this all make sense, because it might not, and you just might need to see it again. So again, we're trying to avoid the 5D process just because we now understand algebra. So this is true also. Like, this is really interesting. When I first did this problem like 2 years ago, I was like, oh, okay. So in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the number of gold medals Jamaica received was twice the number of silver medals. Okay, so gold is twice silver. So go ahead and write, what could we write for that? G is 2S. Gold is twice silver. So G on your paper, please write G is 2S. Different problem, right? Draw a squiggly blue line or something, different problem. 94. Yeah, this goes on graph paper. I mean, unless you're trying to squeeze things in. But now, bronze, I'm just going to highlight in like blue for bronze. Bronze was 1 fewer than silver. Uh-oh. 1 fewer than silver. So that means bronze is S minus 1. Crap. We have G equals 2S, B equals S minus 1. Right, gold is 2 times silver, bronze is 1 fewer than silver. What other metal is there? Silver. Oh, silver. So, well, what can we put for S? S. Oh, S is S. Guys, writing it like this might help some of you. Because now, what we're gonna do is just put these together. Because to do G plus B plus S, I'm gonna add 2S and S minus 1 and S. So, if I write this out, it's 2S replaces the G plus, this doesn't need to be in parentheses. I'm just doing it to show you guys how we're replacing it. S minus 1 replaces the B, and S is S. Now we do need to go back up to the information and figure out, well, what do they total? Altogether, Jamaica got 11 medals. It's pretty good. I mean, for an Olympics. What for the U.S.? Calm it down. Jamaica's just lucky to have a bobsled team. If you haven't seen Cool Runnings, it is your homework to go watch it this weekend. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up, it's bobsled time! No, nobody?
I know that.
Nobody.
Look, I will show you the preview, and you will feel like you should go watch that movie. Hey, try to solve this on your own. Take 2 minutes, try to solve this on your own. Now, the thing to be careful about is this is a -1. So if I rewrite it without the parentheses, I'm actually going to put my -1 in parentheses because we know we want to contain those negatives. Try it on your own. I'm looking to see you writing on your graph paper, trying this on your own. Help other people. If you need help, Savannah said she can help you. That's what you said when you're all sassy and say, I already solved it.
Yeah, sassy Savannah.
Oh man, this movie's old. It came out in 1993.
I've seen lots of the movies.
Alright, we called on a 1A, we got a call on a 3B. Morgan, what is the first thing we would do here? Heron, not Shake.
So I think the first thing we can do is
Always. Come on, say that louder.
combine your like terms.
Combine your like terms. So over here, 2S, S, S. How many S's? 4S plus a negative 1. Alright, switching back to another stack. Lose. What do we do now? I have 4S plus a negative 1 equals 11. We can what? Yeah, I agree we want to get rid of the extra. But ask yourself, how do we turn a negative 1 into 0? Add positive. So,
Check your email in about 1 minute.
So, we add 1. Now this gets easier. 4S is 12. So then we divide by 4.
OBS.
Now hold up, we're not done. How many gold, how many bronze? Morgan? Gold was twice silver, so gold is 6, and then bronze is 2 because it was 1 less. Then when we total these, do they add up to 11? You betcha. So we go back. Once we have the S, we go back and find the other values. Oh, sorry, they were here. By saying 2S and S minus 1. Nick? Yeah. So guys, literally, I can't explain to you why this math is so important for your life. But guys, last night I stood in PetSmart and I compared the 50 versus 100 versus 150 count box of potty pads. And I'm not joking, and the area of them. Because one potty pad was 28 by 34. Stop, I'm serious. The other one was 27.5, which is actually smaller, but by 44. Right, stick with me. Hold up, I'm serious, stick with me. A 50 count box of these, the bigger ones, was about $30. A 150 count box of these was $35, but these were buy one, get one half off. These weren't. So what do you think I bought? These. The area of these are bigger, but unit price, guys, I literally stood in the aisle doing math in my head thinking, what do I buy? Now I came home with 300 pee pads, but I'm good for a while, right? My dogs will have pee pads for a long time. This is the mathematical thinking we want you to take. Last problem we'll set up, then we'll get you out of here.
No, we want to hear the story.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
Okay.
I beg you.
As a thank you for your flexibility today and being cool, we have 2 minutes of class left. I guess I'll tell you that story. Okay, so if you are part of a church community, you normally end up knowing your people you go to church with pretty well. So there was a family in Coshocton, called the Woodies. They had a racing team, not NASCAR, but their dad races their cars and stuff. So I was pretty good friends with them because they had all boys. Their boys were, I forget how much younger than me, but they had 3 boys, right? So oldest, middle, and youngest child, all boys. So the mom stops me at church and says, "Hey, can you babysit for the boys this weekend?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. What do you want me to do?" She's like, "I don't know. Come over, play games, do whatever. You just put them to bed at the end of the night. It's all good." It's like, great. I can take care of kids. And this is before I decided I wanted to become a teacher or whatever. So I go to their house. We're hanging out playing. The boys are like, "Hey, let's go play on the trampoline." I'm like, "It's cold outside." They're like, "No, it's in the basement." What? In their basement, they had an inflatable, the base of it was inflatable, so not like the metal trampolines you see outside. Inflatable, big, probably from the wall to maybe Zach, probably is how big this thing was. And it was taller than me, right? Because you'd get up in it and there was a net around it. So great, we're playing games. We got balls in there and we're playing this popcorn type game thing, whatever. And I'm running around chasing them. All of a sudden I bounce and my head hits their fluorescent lights. And the lights just drop, and immediately in my head, I'm thinking these are gonna break. The boys are gonna cut themselves. I am going to be driving them to the hospital. Everything is going through my head. I'm just stop! And the light goes out because it's fluorescent lights. If they come out, all of the lights turn off because it's a series. So now we're in the dark. I don't know if there's broken glass or not because if they fell, I couldn't tell if they broke. So I very carefully get my way over to find some other light source. Come back in. Get the boys. The bulbs did not break. However, the light was broken, the fixture. I broke that with my head. So when they came home, boys were asleep, the whole thing. I had to explain to them, so, although you warned me the ceiling in the basement isn't very tall, I broke your light. And whether that was the reason or not, they never had me babysit.
How old were you?
16.
Were they mad at you?
I don't know that they were mad at me. I just don't know if they trusted me 100% like
Well,
that.
it's not. I
I
mean,
broke their light.
it's not their fault. It's not your
Oh,
fault.
who puts a trampoline in the basement?
Nobody.
I mean, if you're in the basement,
FGHIJ, where are you going? Who's here? KLMNO, where are you going? Go there. PQRC or whatever the other group is, where are you going? Go there. Huh? No. I don't remember what I actually made for babysitting them, but I'm sure it wasn't very much. Oh, I didn't show you the cool running preview. I gotta check in with Gordon and make sure that it's still what's happening. So. Hold up. Hey, get up. Get out of the desk. No, you didn't get up, and then you ended up in that situation. Quit acting like a victim. You made that situation happen. Hold the sentence. There you go.
Hello there.
Are you guys supposed to have science right now? Yeah, come to me. Matthew, come to me. Yes, should be. Unless they can go into chaos. Should be. Matthew, come to me. So, Amanda, what then is going to happen is they'll come to me again this afternoon. There's no way I'll let them know. It's fine. I can just have them all at the same time. So
Oh, we got a snuggle! Let's go! Oh, sweet! Let's go! You're three. This is oh my gosh. I'll go up here. You can sit right there. Go and get our math binders.
yeah, you need your math stuff. We're having math.
What are we gonna do?
Unless you want to just wait and have it later, but I'd rather get it out of the way.
What are we gonna do?
Don't worry, we'll talk about it. Go get your math stuff. You don't have your math stuff, go get it.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being awesome. Look, when I make a bet, I live up to it. When I make a bet, I live up to it.
Hey, is this one of those carabiner earrings?
I think that's just a clip off somebody's necklace or something. Somebody's probably missing it though. Like it probably fell off and their thing broke, whatever it was attached. Do you have your math stuff? Because we're still going over that chapter 8 mastery, so you need to make sure that you have that. I have about 4 of you. I have masteries from like 4 of you, I believe. And then I have stuff to pass back. So Ike, Katie Ann.
Oh, I was very confused. Science.
Alex, Josh, Simon, Katie Ann, and Charlie, I have your tests up here. If Ike is in here, I just found this thing that needs graded. They're like gone for the day or what?
No,
Is
he
he?
just went to go get his stuff.
Sorry, I need to flip over to your. Oh yeah.